Good afternoon. Don Huffmeister here again with a continuation of the I forget syndrome. We could call this I forget syndrome too, because there were a couple of things that I did forget in the last little dissertation that I gave. One of them is that after the beginning program is started, the 5 or 6 weeks in the rental program, and then they've started in the school year, you're going to have a few people who are going to come up and say that they want to switch instruments. And most of the time those are ones who just haven't thought up the other creative excuses of, like, I forgot my horn, the mouthpiece is not there, the reeds are busted, and so on. Or we went on vacation. Of course, if you question them about when they went on vacation, it was for one day during the week or something. Or they were sick. I didn't even accept sickness as an excuse for not practicing, because I knew most of the time they were only sick for a day or two, and when I questioned them, I'd say, well, what'd you do the rest of the week? So in that sense, I was really very tough. I wanted to get away from listening to all of those little reasons why they thought they couldn't practice. But there will be these people who will want to switch from one instrument to another, and if you look at them closely, if you've had a chance really to look at them closely, they probably just haven't thought up the other reasons. And I would observe those a little differently, in the sense that I try to make an assessment on the spot of which direction to go with them. One was, I'd say, well, I don't think you've really given the horn a shot yet, and what I'd like it to have you try is, say, for 3 weeks of practicing 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week. And if you've got a pretty good relationship, most of the kids will bait into that one and find it okay. And I'll say, and then after that, we can take a look at this and see whether you really want to play another instrument. But I don't think you've really given it a fair trial yet. And some of them will do that. And that's really good. And most of the time, they won't bring the issue up again. There'll be another few who will be a little more insistent, or whom when I look at, I'll think, well, there's a possibility here. I think the way I'll handle this one is I'll appeal to them saying, well, we've got 5 or 6 weeks in, and you're so far on the flute, and the band has started during the school year now, and we're in a few weeks into that. And you can see that I'm giving out information and people are improving from the lessons in the band. And so therefore, yes, I'll consider it, but what I'd like to have you do is you continue playing on the flute and taking the lessons and attending band that way, so you stay even with everybody. But at the same time, you can start the clarinet. But I don't give them any help for starting on the clarinet. In other words, they got to find the horn, they got to get the book. They may have a horn at home, or there may be other ways they can get it. But the point is they're going to have to make up that distance and catch up to the class. I'll give them some instruction as much as I can at their lesson or after their lesson on the main instrument is there, but not all that much. Usually those kids will after a time, they'll just say, no, I think I'm staying with my original instrument, because they can see it wasn't that they didn't like it, it's that they hadn't practiced it. So those are two situations that are handled a little differently, but I think they're part of the same general trend that kids can give you. Another one is you can have some students, and certainly I've ran into them over the years, and you've gone through the sequence of do you see yourself playing the instrument and that sort of thing, and they say yes, and they set up a plan and so on, and they come, and really when they get the horn out, it still sounds like they really haven't done very much. And I remember one boy in particular, very nice little kid, and I got a little bit heavy, I suppose, at the time, and I began to see tears running down his face, and I said, well, Jim, or whatever his name was, I said, I'm sorry, I really thought that you weren't practicing. He said, no, I'm practicing all of the time. But his lip really wouldn't quite vibrate. It would do some, but it didn't give evidence of vibrating freely, and for the life of me I couldn't figure out what to do about it. And I'm a trumpet player, so you'd think I would have some facility in that area for imparting information that might help. Any rate, spontaneously I got up and I picked a baritone mouthpiece up. I handed it to him and I asked him to buzz on it, and he got a buzz right away. And so then I grabbed a baritone horn and he blew on it, and he got a third space C on it in the treble clef, concert B flat, because of all the trumpet playing trying, I imagine. He just played up in that range very easily. So I let him take the horn home, and the next week he came in and he just played very, very well. He caught up completely with the rest of the kids, and I kind of followed him over the years. He went through high school and played a very, very fine baritone horn. So in that case, I was wrong, and those kinds of things happen. The other thing is you can have a child that you didn't perceive had some little physical difficulty, and they take an awful long time to get the handle on the instrument. I remember one little girl in 5th grade. She was a small tyke. She really wanted to play flute. She came to lessons all the time. I can still see the picture of her coming in. I had to give lessons in the girls' locker room and in a kind of an abandoned building. And, it's one of those places that you don't think about. You just teach the lesson and be done with it. I don't get involved in feeling badly about the kind of space that you have to teach in. At any rate, she would have trouble with her. I noticed it would take her forever to get the little finger onto the E flat key on the flute, and then even the ring finger was problematic for her in terms of moving it, and it took a very long time for her to begin to control that. But I kind of hung with her mostly because her father spoke to me about it and said she really loved playing flute, and they were pleased about it because it was the only thing that she was involved in school that was a little bit out of the ordinary, and they wanted her to continue. So I hung with her, and I saw her through the 5th or the 7th and 8th grade, and I'd say she was, in the middle of the pack. She went into high school, and she stayed pretty much in the middle of the pack there too. And then she went on to a state university and played all the way through college. So, we can't give up on the kids, even sometimes when they're testing your patience greatly. And so those 2 or 3 little situations there that I've told you about now, I think kind of complete that sort of area. You can see how I think we can go about working with kids so that they become very, very responsible, and then that way we let go of any kind of coercive or pushing on them sort of thing to get them to play. We want them to have a good experience, a good emotional experience while playing. Okay, Don Hoffmeister, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.